All right, good evening. This is Wilson, November 6th Echo Mike Foxtrot, your net control operator for the River City Arcs Slow Scan TV Net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA repeater on 441.30 megahertz. River City Arcs members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency traffic is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before continuing. Any station who wishes to check into the net, please come now.
Kilo Lima 7 Hotel, Quebec, Romeo, Neo, and Antelope.
This is Carol, Kilo Papa 4, Mike Delta, Citrus Heights.
All right, so far we have 2 KL7HQR, Neil and Antelope, and Carol, KP4MD, Citrus Heights. I want to thank you both for checking into the net. Do we have any other check-ins?
Good evening, this is Joel, Alpha India 6, Delta Golf in Florin.
All right, hello Joel, Alpha India 6, Delta Golf, Florin. Thank you for checking into the net this evening. I will listen for any more. N6EMF, net control here. Well, all right, hope everybody's doing good this Wednesday evening. And looks like we have 3 folks. We've got Neil, Carol, and Joel. My picture's not ready to send this time. It's almost ready. So while I'm waiting for the first transmission, I will get ready. How's that? So who wants to be first?
Carol is always one of the last, so why don't you take the honors tonight, Carol?
Okay, very good. We'll do that. This is KP4MD. Let me bring up, here I got to close this and I have to go over to here. I've got to load here and we're going to do this PD120 is Kilo Papa 4, Mike Delta.
right, I'll turn it over to Neil. Did you copy photo from KP4MD?
Roger. Good evening, KL7HQR. Yes, I copied very well, although quite a few pops on from our little colored ducks friends. But very well copy, and looks like you have your tuna TNS already up and running there, Carol. It looks pretty good. I tried to read the frequency. It looks like it's 40 meters, but that was a little bit blurry when he came here. I don't know if it's the reception. I'm looking at YouTube, and maybe it's my eyes. But a very good picture. It looks like you feed it with some batteries up in the back, vertical, silver cylinders, and of course the Morse code, the key, the straight key on the right-hand side. So very good copy. And when it's time for you to comment, I wonder if you have any success already in the air, okay, or on the air. Back to that.
All right, thank you, Neil. That was KL7HQR and N6EMF here. I'll turn it over to Joel, AI6DG. Did you copy Carol's photo, KP4MD's photo?
Somewhat. Also, just to make sure Carol knows, the beginning of her transmission, anything she said before the slow scan started was double, so we didn't hear it. But fortunately, it stopped right before the slow scan started, so we had a chance to receive it. I have a bunch of tears from slant adjustment for some reason on this transmission. I don't know if it's, well, it must be me because I got no one else has mentioned it. But I've got the whole picture is slanted, and there's a couple places where it's a complete tear in the picture above and below. But I take it this is the tuna that people have been working on, and I look forward to hearing stories about the build, the test, and the use. A fair number of pops. I don't know if it's worse than normal, but we've got the board on the left, a straight key on the right, and cables going around. That's all I can tell. Looking at the YouTube, I can see, I guess that's a 4 battery, 4 AA's in a pack. But I guess I can see that it's plugged into the power connector on the rear rightmost connector. BNC on the rear left, is that plugged into a terminator, a dummy load for testing? And I guess that, okay, second from the right in the back must be for the key. The cable looks the same, otherwise I was going to say headphones, but no, it's the key. Back to net, yes, it's the key.
All right, wonderful, Joel. Thank you for that. Yeah, I was able to copy the photo pretty good. Quite a few pixel pops, as others described. A little blurry, but I got it, and I'm building a tuna pie or tuna tin S as well, just like this one here that Carol has. And anyway, I recognize it. I've just completed mine, and it looks a lot like hers, except so in the upper left is the BNC jack where for the transmit port, and the middle pad that's unterminated. There's a missing part from the kit that we're expecting to arrive pretty soon, but that's the receive BNC port. And then right below that middle spot at the top of the board is the actual the N-type MOSFET transistor, and then to the upper right corner, I'm going to tell the story, is the power supply, upper right, power supply connector or jack, and then to the left of that is the quarter-inch phono plug. But yeah, this is quite impressive, and I see the key off to the side, so I'll turn it over to Carol, KP4MD. We'll hear from her. What's the story in N6NA?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. Well, you got everything pretty much right there. And Joel, you did recognize that on that BNC connector, I have a 50 ohm terminator. Since I was just testing it, it was a dummy load, and that's actually a 8-cell AA battery holder. You only got the front part of it though in the picture, and those are 8 nickel metal hydride batteries, which are 12 volt, 1.2 volts each. So the total voltage coming out of that is 9.6 volts. And I was doing some testing with it into that little terminator. Terminator works quite well. It's rated for up to zero point 0.5 watts, and that's about what the maximum that this little transmitter will put out. And what you see there, the 4 toroids is the low pass filter. Those are those little yellow toroids along the left side of the board there. And there's a little encoder knob in the front that if you depress it, each time you depress it, it will control one of the digits on that little display. So I think it's actually reading 7043.0 kilohertz at that time. So it's got a little Arduino Nano on the right side, and then right smack in the middle of the board is an SI5351 um, uh, digital synthesizer. It's quite impressive. One of the main reasons I wanted to build this is not because I need a QRP transmitter. I already have the KX3, but I really wanted to see this SI5351. I've heard so much about it. I know that they use that chip in the Nano VNA and a lot of other devices. So actually building something that had one was interesting, and also being able to tweak the Arduino sketch that controls it. So I've already done a little work on that, and it's just something to learn with. So and I did make a contact. Yeah, Neil was asking. We made one contact today. It was a soda station, AG7GP, up on Wolfrat Mountain in Oregon, and it was 559 both ways. She had a KX2 up on a mountaintop there with a link dipole, and I guess it's got a really hot receiver if it could pick up this little half-watt signal from this thing. So back to net control. This is KP4MD.
Very good, Carol. Thank you. N6EMF here. Yeah, I saw your photographs of Amy up there, AG7 GP, on top of the mountain with her KX2, and having made a contact between you two. That was a phenomenal set of photographs you sent on over there on what is it called? Discord, both Discord and on our Do-It-Yourself Builders email. So that was great. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. It's quite inspirational. And yep, I've got my thing coming in the mail, and I think I'm ready to send my photo. So if there's, do we have any other questions or comments for Carol before I continue in 6EMF?
November 6 kilowatt Echo November, no questions. I just joined at the 3-minute mark, so throw me in the rotation.
All right. Was that so, Ken? Good evening, Ken. How are you, sir?
QSL, it's Ken. Thank you.
Very good. What I'll do is I'll turn it over to well, maybe what I'll do is go ahead and transmit my photo, and then I'll set Neil, and then we'll go to Joel. How's that in 6EMF? I'll be transmitting probably Martin 1. Martin 1. right, that was N6NA finished transmitting his photo, and that's me. Let me go to Carol, KP4MD. Did you copy it?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you could see what I copied. I do have some multipath. I was discussing this with the repeater guru. If you listen to the audio coming through over YouTube, you'll hear I have some deep fades here and there, and we think it's a multipath on my end here. But I see your picture. I see your completed Tuna Tin S on the left. And I see what looks like a really nice straight key with a chrome base in a plastic cover, a little cubicle plastic cover. Wonder if that's a Vibroplex straight key. It kind of looks something like that. Um, anyway, it looks a lot nicer than mine. Mine is just a cheap Japanese JJ38 that I bought, probably almost 50 years ago at Radio Shack in New York, that brass bass key made in Japan. So looks really nice, and I like to see uh, here when you maybe get some contacts or send a CQ out and see what you get back on the reverse speaker network where you're copied. I'm going to tell you, I've tried to do it at nighttime. It's really hard to get any reports at nighttime because the noise level is so much higher at night, and the skip is very long on 40. So back to net control. This is KP4MD.
All right, noted. Thank you, Carol. N6EMF here. Appreciate those comments. And let me go with Neil. I'm kind of going out of order here. I apologize. I'll probably get my act together. Neil, KL7HQR. Hello, sir. Would you let us know if you copied photo from N6EMF, net control?
Roger. Neil, KL7HQR. Very good copy here. A lot less color pops on this picture. Just a very few, and very, very good copy. To the degree that I can see that the transmitter is on top of some the plastic bags, and the key on the right side, like Carol said, very, very impressive. And with your call letters up on the upper right-hand corner, and trying again to read the frequency, and looks impossible to copy that, but very clear picture, no problem at all. Back to that.
Very good, Neil. That was KL7HQR. Thank you very much. I will turn it over to Joel, AI6DG. Copy.
Yeah, same problem as last time. I'm getting tears on it. But PayPause was very active. I've got some lines of green dots, red dots at various places. It's torn so bad I might have to look at the YouTube side. And Carol described it pretty good. The only thing I'm confused about is what's going on with that paddle, because it's the red button makes it look like it's a straight key where you're pushing up and down, but looking at the mechanism, it looks like an iambic, a single paddle iambic mechanism. I think I can see the mount points for two contacts, so I would expect that bar to be going left and right, not up and down. So I'm curious about the key. Back to net AI6DG.
All right, thank you for the question. Appreciate that, Joel. That was AI6DG, N6EMF here. I'll call on Ken, KN6KN. Did I get the call sign right?
Yeah, N6KN, and I got perfect copy on that one. Just very few green dots, red dots here and there, which is normal on this repeater. But yeah, I see your radio, and I see the straight key. I actually have the another version of that iambic here from Vibraflex. My grandfather, he didn't want to do CW anymore, and so he shipped it to me, and it's sitting here. And the funny thing is, I prefer straight keys. So if you want to trade, hi.
All right, I'll talk a little bit about that. Thank you, Ken. Did I miss anybody? No, Joel, AI60. No, wait. Yeah, so, no, I think we went through the list, right? We got everybody?
Everybody.
Okay. Yeah, so this photograph represents the Tuna 10S that I just built, very much like Carol's, and it's right now I took this just 10 minutes ago. 7039.6 kilohertz is what it's tuned to, and I haven't updated the nano the nano Arduino. I have not updated the code with the code enhancement, so that's something I intend to do the next couple of days. But successfully built this kit with just very few issues that got resolved, and like Carol said, it's really an impressive kit. I want to share a fun story. I subjected the board to temperature variations using a blow dryer, a hair blow dryer, and I watched the frequency drift from plus or minus 10 hertz, and then it settled whenever it compensated at the higher temperature or at the lower temperature. So it's very quick to respond and compensate to temperature variations, which I thought was pretty cool to see. And anyway, so I just got that Vibraflex Straight Key Deluxe Chrome in the mail. I just ordered it Monday night or Sunday night, I think. And the reason why I picked it up is because one of my Elmer's name is Bob, is N6BOB. He's out there in Yuba City Arcs. He lent me a key that was like a dual key with a metal base, iambic and straight. And I prefer the straight. I had straight before. Well, anyway, the story behind this key that I bought is that if you go out there and try to buy a key of decent quality right now, you'll have a hard time sourcing it. And the reason why is because ham gear is just flying off the shelves out there. And if you try to find it on eBay, good luck with that as well. So what I decided to do is to kind of get some altitude and price to avoid those shipping delays, because everything I've tried to get recently has just been just a nightmare trying to find it in stock anywhere. But yeah, I just by going up $20 or $30 from the black base, I was able to get this expediently. And I bought the acrylic cover because the key that I have has a lot of dust on it. You can call it disuse or whatever, but anyway, I thought that the plastic cover would be of significant value for keeping it clean, keeping the contacts clean. And I have to return my borrowed key to my Elmer pretty soon, because he got stoked when he found out I was building the Tuna 10S, and he found out that I'm having fun with some CQ or CW. I'm doing some CW stuff online with KN6HDD, and John got his call time, but RTM, I think. But anyway, there's the story behind that, and I think I answered most of the questions, but try finding a JJ38 on the cheap right now. You probably won't be able to find one, unfortunately. And then on the reverse beacon, thanks for the tip on that. Let's see what else comes to mind. I can't describe that mechanism. I'm not sure what it's called, but there's some parts in there, like there's a trunnion in there. But anyway, this is a pretty decent key, pretty decent reviews, so I'm looking forward to getting into it. N6EMF.
Question?
Go right ahead. Is that Neil? I'm Joel, rather.
So does the red button, does it go up and down or left and right?
Well, I didn't answer that question, but I did indicate it is a straight key deluxe chrome, and it goes up and down. I have another photo, but I probably won't transmit it tonight. But it is indeed a straight key, goes up and down. and it's got kind of like a complex sort of mechanism. I think they call it a trunnion.
Okay, just to clarify, because the resolution's not great, but it looks to me like iambic where it goes left to right. But it doesn't mean anything. What I think I see doesn't mean anything because you're seeing it goes up and down. So it's just an unusual mechanism. It'd be great to get a high resolution image of that with flat stick off. Anyway, that's me wishing. Back to the N6NA.
About this, I'll send you an email later this evening or tomorrow. I'll send you an email of a couple of different perspectives on this this unit. I'm sorry I wasn't prepared to describe the mechanism. I don't fully understand it either, but I'll be getting into it to try to figure out really what the principle of operation behind it is. But what drove me to purchase it was just supply chain issues. I felt like, well, this is something I can buy and get on hand pretty quickly, and the rest is history. So thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, well, let me turn it over to next up will be Neil, KL7HQR. If you're ready to transmit, go right ahead.
Roger, I found an old picture here, and it will be on PD120. I hope it works.
Neil, thanks for the photo. This N6NA Net Control, I was able to copy that just fine. It looks to me like a photograph of possibly a ham shack. Well, definitely a ham shack with 3 computer terminal displays and a nice heavy-duty computer off to the right, possibly. I see that the computer monitors are elevated by some kind of maybe a data cable box, small data cable box or something. Let's see what else I can't quite make out because the photograph did not make it across very sharply. A few pixel pops. The clarity is a little off from my perspective, and I see I can't identify the radios. I just don't know the radios well enough. But the fun thing, one fun thing I see is a little hand drum down there. So nice work, Neil. I was able to get the essence of the photo, but it looks like a really cozy shack environment from my perspective. And I will turn it over to Carol, KP4MD. Did you copy the photo?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I'm copy. I see the photo just fine, but I'm just a little confused. It kind of almost looks a little bit like Neil's flight simulator display. Can't really make very much of what is there. If that's, I guess, a radio operating position, and why is there such a big a desktop computer tower there on the right side of the table? I'm a little confused about. And by the way, I looked at the Radio Shack catalog from 1972, and this JJ38 that I bought, they called it a high-speed um, hand key, $2.49. And I look on eBay now, and they're going like for 80 something dollars. This is incredible. You have a really good investment with that key that you bought there, that Vibraplex Deluxe Straight Key. Back to Net Control. This is KP for MD.
Thank you, Carol. I'm really appreciate the encouragement on that. I dropped some coin on it, and I'm very, very proud of it. So that's the reason why I went in for the cover, to try to protect the contacts and the overall aesthetics from dust or whatever. So very good. Thank you. So AI6DG, Joel, did you copy?
Yeah, I did. I still have a flat and some cuts. I'm trying to figure out what adjustment or calibration to do to try to get rid of it. If that's even the problem, it could be I just got too many things running on my computer, and that could be causing problems. I'm thinking this is the flight simulator, but a very early stage of it. Because, okay, I see the tower on the right on the tabletop. I see three monitors spread across, and it looks like each one of them is on a cardboard box, maybe even an Amazon box, I'm not sure. And it looks like flight controls in front of them on the edge of the desk. And I think I see a laptop screen too, or another smaller screen in between the two, in front of and between the two leftmost screens. Stuff that on the ground, I'm not sure what. My choice for a paddle would probably be like a chrome Venture IM, but single paddle, not a double paddle. And I think they're about two or 300, somewhere between 200 and 300 probably. And I'm not that interested in CW yet. But I know from what I've seen that if you're really into CW and you get a real fancy key or paddle, they can get very, very expensive. Very precise mechanics, handmade and adjusted, and it's just amazing. But I guess if you're doing 20 or 30 words a minute, it makes a big difference. Back to Net, AI6DG.
All right, thank you. So yeah, copied pretty good, and appreciate the feedback on that, and can't wait to hear what Neil has to say about his photo. I'm almost want to let him cheat. How about Ken, KN6KEN?
A solid copy on the photo, Neil, and I see that is probably the same, looks like the same one I have. I'm a private pilot, but I started into it with Microsoft Flight Simulator back in 1998 version. Got the 2003 version was the last one I used though. The newest one, version X, looks amazing. But a few years ago, when I was going through flight training, physical flight training, I bought that exact yoke, the exact trim control down there on the bottom, and the exact throttle and mixture component. The only thing I don't have that looks like you have is you have the COM 1 and Navigation 1 module on top of that. But great picture. As far as the CW gears go, I have a J38. It's an original that was given to me when I first got my Novice. And this past summer, I decided that the brass wasn't looking so hot, and the base plate could be cleaned up, so I dismantled it. But I forgot to take notes of how it was assembled. So now I have just parts, so I was hoping someone has another J38 that I could look at sometime. Back to net.
All right, very good. Yeah, I've seen some diagrams of J38s. In fact, I was on the internet on Amazon the other night, and I saw some artwork of J38s, like blueprint style and different types of, patinas, and I thought that was pretty cool. I really do like that look, that style, but try to find a J38 that you can find and actually get your hands on and own one. It's a pretty difficult thing to do right now, from my opinion, but maybe Carol could get some photographs or some coaching over to you on that. N6EMF. Any other comments? All right. Yeah, thanks, Ken. And then, Neil, KL7HQR, I'm going to ask if you could explain to the red and the blue knobs, what are they for? And I apologize, I didn't recognize this for what it was. I couldn't tell that it wasn't ham gear, but go right ahead, Joel. N6EMF.
I think you met Neil.
I did.
Okay, good evening, guys. First of all, let me address the key. I just, going back to CW now, and the key that I purchased was a Navy key, CJB 2600, and so I got that, and through Mike from 76SMF, I got a nice metal base for it, and I got the cover for the contacts, the no sparks Navy submarine key, and I'm pretty happy with it, but I'm still learning how to use it. Anyway, to the picture, and this is going to be, I promise, my last picture on the simulator. This is simulator version 1.0, back in, I believe, 2014. That's the way we started. The three screens are the same that I have, or that you've seen on the other pictures that I've sent the last couple of weeks. The computer tower is the same. The insides have been updated to a more modern video card and etc. And this was a first attempt. The picture is not that good because it's an old picture. I didn't have time to do any work on it. But as you can see, before the walls was blue, and that's the way it used to be. And if you notice, yes, the monitors are temporarily arranged on top of cardboard boxes. Between the rightmost and the center one, you have some of the speakers. And on the left-hand side, you have the edge of a laptop, another laptop closed with a portable keyboard on top of it. And the little drum is my trash can that I use here. I still have it here. The interesting thing is that I was trying to adjust, how high do I need it? And my wife was kind enough to loan me her spare ironing board. And that's where everything is attached to. And as Ken said, those instruments are SideTech. Now they're Logitech. They were acquired. And the blue and red knobs, there is a black one right next to it, to the left of the blue. The black one is the throttle, the standard throttle. The blue is for controlling the pitch of the prop if you have a complex airplane, and the red is for the mixture. And there are. I only had the one radio there. I had two radios now, and I have the yoke and I have the joystick. But anyway, so this is an old picture, and that's where we started, and you guys have seen where we are now. And Ken, I would like to talk to you privately after the net's over. If you have a second, we can talk about flight sims. And I'm running the Flight Simulator 2020 right now in VR mode, in virtual reality mode, and you got to see it. It feels like you're physically in the cockpit. Back to Nat.
Very good. Nice explanation. Thanks for explaining those controls there with the, I think you said it was the, let me see if I can remember now. There was the throttle, the mixture, and prop trim, or pitch trim on the prop. That's pretty cool. And then an ironing board. I was trying to figure out what that cross was for, and you explained it. Nice work, Neil. If you have another photo of interest for the the history of your simulators, go right ahead. Send more. We'd love to hear more about them, I'm pretty sure. So, and I hope Ken's able to get his key solved. Anyway, let's see. What do we have now? I think we went through the entire list on that, and maybe I can turn it over to Joel. And again, Neil, my apologies for getting your name wrong, Neil. So, Joel, go right ahead. AI6DG, if you have a photo, would you be ready to send now? That was Alpha India 6 Delta Golf. Since I was able to copy his photo, I tell you, from my perspective, photo came in good color. I got some stripes of noise and pixel pops throughout, but I can see sort of a bluff up there, on the horizon with a dark kind of weathery sky with some maybe pine or evergreen trees. But the photograph, there's a sort of I don't know if you want to call it a gorge, but some kind of maybe lava or something, a light source coming from a crack in the side of the mountain. Don't know if that's a volcano or whatever, but I really appreciate these photos that Joel gets out, because it really changes the mood. I can feel myself saying, wow, it's something different to look at during slow scan TV. So thanks for sending that over. I copied it reasonably well. Looks good. Let me turn that one over to Carol, KP4MD.
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I believe we've seen this picture once before. I think this was from when Joel went over to Hawaii and took pictures of Mount Kilauea blowing its top. Very good, Joel. Thank you for sharing this again. Of course, I know that's not it. It's a waterfall with just I think it's around sunset, and the color of the sunlight just happens to be illuminating that fall and giving the appearance of lava. It's a really neat trick there. So back to net control. This is KP4MD.
All right, very good. Well, I'm doing sort of a random sort. How about Ken, KN6KEN? Copy?
Appreciate it. That way everybody doesn't get to guess before I do. But anyway, my guess is this is at Yosemite at Glacier Point, is it? Glacier Peak. And this is the old tradition of the Firefall, where they would pour ashes over the into the valley to make it look like lava coming down. I don't think they do it anymore because of the risk of fires. But I talked to my mom, and she remembers going there in the 50s and 60s and witnessing it.
All right, nice one, Ken. Thank you. N6CMF here. I'll turn it over to Neil, KL7HQR. Copy?
KL7HQR. Yeah, I will vote for Yosemite as well. I don't know exactly where. I thought he was in the backside of the Yosemite Valley. My wife grew up going to Yosemite in her childhood and youth almost every summer, and she wouldn't know exactly if that's it. And I had a chance to see one back in the 60s. I had a chance to see one. It wasn't quite this dramatic, but it was quite interesting. So if it is not Yosemite, I would like to know where it is. But the picture came through okay, with a couple of stripes of interference about twice of the height of the AI6DG, and also a little bit above the fall. But everything else, very, very good copy. Back to now.
Yeah, roger that, Neil. Thank you. Let's see. AI6DG. Joel, would you like to go ahead with a description on the photo?
So yes, it's Yosemite, and it's interesting the mix of Firefall. But when you talk about Firefall in Yosemite, you've got to talk about which era or what you're talking about, because there's two things called the Firefall in Yosemite. Prior to 1969, they would dump a large load of burnt embers off of a glacier point, and it would fall down the cliff just above Curry Village. And that was for many years happening and was called Firefall. They finally stopped it for multiple reasons. I think environmental from the ashes. They were also running out of wood up there to burn to create the embers. And also that's the year that the Glacier Point Hotel burned down. So there was no longer facilities up there and people up there to do this. And they're probably just getting tired of doing it because it was a huge effort to do, because you had to burn it all day. I mean, someone was doing it all day just for that 30 seconds that night. But like I said, they stopped that in '69, and now the big deal that's called Firefall is this photo. This was taken sometime in the last week or two, so probably the last few days. And what you're looking at is a portion of the east side of El Capitan, and twice a year there's a portion of that cliff face on El Capitan that's lit with golden alpine glow just before the sunset, when the sun is setting at just the right spot to be shining down the canyon and light this area. Now, there's no water, so it's just a lit cliff. There's no big deal. In spring, right now, it's perfectly lined up to light a seasonal waterfall called Horsetail Falls. And from the right spot when it turned out just right, just like a firefall or lava falling down the cliff, and it's really quite amazing. And it's one of those things that social media has publicized to the whole world, and photographers worldwide go absolutely crazy in Yosemite for the week or two that it's happening, to the point where the park has to close roads and do a reservation system and really put the kibosh on the photographers, because otherwise they'd can't damage roadside and spots and so forth. And this isn't my photo, but I did steal it off of Facebook, thus the Facebook credits for the guy who took it. And this photo does not do it justice in any way, shape, or form. I did a little, I picked this photo because it was an excellent example, and it kind of gave you the picture, the overall picture. A lot of people take pictures zoomed in, so the entire photo is just that lit portion in the center. Anyway, back to net, AI6DG.
I can tell you that was a real treat, so thank you. A lot more going on there than I could imagine, so I'm not sure if I've seen this photo, but wasn't it Ansel Adams that was a landscape photographer that did a lot of work in Yosemite?
He took photos of all kinds of stuff, but he's most known for his Yosemite photos. He literally wrote the book. He had a series of 3 books on photography, so he was very well known in photography overall. But yes, Yosemite. I don't think he took anything like, certainly not of this firefall. I don't know. He didn't take any photos that I'm aware of the Embers off Glacier Point firefall either. That would be kind of a hard shot.
I think his forte was black and white too, so he might not have been able to emphasize this color spectrum. But yeah, very interesting. Any other questions or comments for Joel on this one? That was wonderful. Thank you, Joel. I appreciate that. I'm sure everybody else did, and the YouTube visitors, the audience out there. I want to give a shout out to them and say hello, and thanks for watching. Let's see. We have KN6KEN. I think you're up. Are you ready to transmit a photo, Ken?
N6KEN, and I have one photo, Martin 1. Here it comes.
well, that came through pretty decent. Got quite a few pixel pops, but I get the big picture. Some noise in the background, but nice color spectrum. I'm not sure what I can see there, but the orange. There's a Ziploc bag with maybe an orange antenna element cable or wire with a spade style wire termination, I think. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe that's your ground radial or counterpoise. Looks like you might have an antenna for some kind of vertical with a loaded base possibly, or maybe that's something else. I see a radio in the background. Looks like your kit. I can't remember if that was a QRP Labs or something else, but looks like you're setting up for portable operations. Can't wait to hear about this one. I had to go first this time. I was eager, so I'll turn it over to Neil, KL7HQR. Did you copy?
Yeah, KL7HQR. Yeah, copy. Again, a few pops here and there, but overall, very good picture. Bright red, what appears to be a vertical antenna. It looks like a VNC connector in the bottom. And on top of, I would assume to be some kind of, it says ender on it. I would assume to be metal, but there are apparently a place to screw an antenna on there, or a screw on the bottom left, a loose nut, some connections on the right-hand side, top end of that board, I would call it that, and also in the bottom, of course, the Ziploc bag with orange cable, which has a connector on the end of it, and it appears to be on top of a table. But picture, very good. I assume some kind of antenna project. Over.
All right, thank you for that, Neil. N6 EMF. KP4MD, Carol, copy?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I'm seeing the same thing everybody else sees. Looks like some kind of a plastic base on that whip, and it looks like maybe 3 screws holding it from the sides, and then coming down off the bottom there's a BNC. It looks like there's indentations on the plastic as if it was a place that you would wind a coil over. I'm not sure what that is. And then there's a plastic bag in the background that looks like it has some orange, I'm not sure if that's cord or like parachute cord or maybe wire of some sort. This antenna is mounted on top of might be a plate. It says Ender on it, and it has a one of those paper clips there on the right side, and I see the CW rig in the. I think that's the QRP Lab CW rig there in the back there. So back to net control. This is, by the way, the people who checked in on YouTube. I want to give a shout out to them. Mike KN6JGY, and also we had Anthony Francis, that's VA7ICI from British Columbia, who was also curious about what we're doing because they host an SSTV in their town as well. So back to Annette. This is KP4 Mike Delta.
Yeah, thank you for that, Carol. That was KN6JGY and VN7ICI, I think, if I copied accurately. I want to wish them a hello and thanks for joining in. So yeah, let's see. Joel, you're up next. AI6DG. Go right ahead.
Okay, so I see a piece of orange plastic. It might even be 3D printed. It's got a BNC connector coming out the side of it on the box. And does look like there's some screws on the top. So maybe it's 2 pieces and it opens up and there's a matching circuitry inside. Because it looks like it's the base of a antenna, because there's a metal rod coming out of that, and for all I know, it's a telescoping mass of some kind, like on a radio. It looks like it's just sitting on a plate, but it's sitting right next to a bolt that I would think that it would screw into. The plate says Ender. I can't tell what it's made of, but it looks like maybe there's a bolt or screw just to the left of the orange vertical base where you would screw in a radio maybe, or a system of radios. There's a paper clip off to the right side, and right below that I see a black wire that's not on the floor because I can see a shadow of it. But I don't think it's coming off the bottom of the plate, so I'm not sure what that is. There's also a Ziploc type of baggie behind the orange vertical base with orange, I don't know if it's rope or wire. First thing I think is fiber optic cable because it's that shade of orange, but it's probably not. And I think I see a fork-style space connector. So that maybe is the radio. Maybe that's a radio wire. And then halfway hidden by all of this, behind it all, is a black box with a display and a knob I don't recognize, but it could be a radio, it could be a control of some type for a radio. And all of this is sitting on a cable top, almost like a table cover, with a kind of a wood pattern or stripe pattern. And off on the extreme upper left, I don't know, a frame or something. Maybe it's, yeah. Back to that, the I6DG. Well, yeah, it looks like an antenna system of some kind. Back to that, the I6DG.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joel. I think it is an antenna system. Let's hear from Ken, KN6KEN. What do you got? N6EMF.
N6EMF and the group, N6KEN. So I'll try to be brief here because I know it's already past 10. But yeah, you guys are correct. So this is an antenna project I'm currently working on. That's not a QRP radio, although it kind of looks like one. It's part of the Ender 3 3D printer that I bought. I picked that up around Thanksgiving for $150 shipped. It's a base model 3D printer, very entry level, but it comes unassembled. You put it together. I think it took me like an hour and a half or so. Then you level the base plate, which takes a little bit of time. And I bought it because at the 2019 Pacificon, the California QRP group, which used to be NorCal QRP, hosted an event project build, which was this antenna, which is a 20-meter vertical using a buddy pole, 13-inch telescoping whip. The inspiration was this 3D printed design by W6IPA. However, they didn't have enough time to print out the base part for everybody, so they made it into a PVC kit. Well, I wanted the original, so I printed it out a couple days ago, and now what I'm doing is let me drop the repeater. What I'm doing now is I'm updating the design because I liked the counterpoise connection, the orange wire is the counterpoise, and I liked how it fit into a brass thumb screw. So the 3D printed design didn't have that, and so I'm going to drill a hole and add that back in, and then of course solder the magnet wire for the coil. It takes 17 turns, and then it connects to the bottom. There's a brass nut underneath the cap that holds the buddy pole telescoping whip in. And that antenna will go on top of, there's another brass nut on the bottom, which is 1/4, which is the right size to go into your standard camera tripod. So I plan on using that with my 20-meter QCX Mini from Hans Summers that I finally got built and working.
Very good, Ken. That was what I was trying to refer to, the QCX Mini, because I think you put it on for us to look at on one SSTV session. Yeah, it's very, very cool. I like that. Can't wait to hear from you to see how that's working. And so anyway, thanks for that. Let me turn it over to any other comments or questions. See what else comes up. Right, so that ender thing, I don't know if I caught what it is, but that's metal, correct? And that is just sort of a base for, could you tell us a little bit about it if I maybe didn't catch it?
No worries. So that's a 3D printer. So on the upper right-hand corner is the frame that the different axes travel on. So and then the plate that you see is a magnetic metal plate. It's called the hotbed plate, and that goes over the hotbed, which is another piece of metal that heats up, and you can control the temperature of that. And then basically the plate will move towards the rear and towards the front, and then of course the hot end, which melts the plastic, goes left and right, and then up and down. And so those are your three axes: X, Y, and Z.
Okay, I think I didn't track accurately what you were describing earlier. My apologies, but pretty cool stuff. Looking at this base with the ender and the screws and stuff through it, gave me the impression that it was, I don't know why, but for some reason I thought it was part of the antenna, but you did talk about how it mounts to a tripod, so thanks for the clarification.
No worries. That was my, I guess that would throw you off if you thought maybe it was attached to that plate, but yeah, that was my clue that it was 3D printed. Enders are pretty well known in the 3D printing space. I do have a quick question before we close, though, on the note of 20 meters. I haven't done any listening during the day, so I was curious if anyone knows about what time the 20-meter band is open lately.
We'll turn it over to others. Carol, anybody else?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I've been listening to HF during the daytime, and it starts picking up, I think, around 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, 20 meters, get some signals from the Midwest. And it right around sundown, it peaks up, and then it just closes up. But yeah, there's nothing on 20 meters at nighttime, if that was a question.
All right, thank you, Carol.
Figured it was probably sometime in the morning, so I'm probably about 20 minutes away of having this antenna ready, so hopefully I can put it on the air tomorrow and call CQ, so I appreciate that. N6KEN.
Comment?
Go ahead.
This morning, I fired up with my Flex 6500 and all the FT8 stuff for the first time in a while. And I thought I'd give 20 meters a try real early. I mean, I think it was only, somewhere between 6 and 8. And there were quite a few FT8 signals, certainly by the time I had to leave for work by 7:30 or 8. Now that's FT8 though. If you're going to do sideband or CW, that could be completely different. The noise floor for those is different. Just wait till the morning and try it through the morning and try it. It'll start up at some point.
All right. Well, I appreciate the discussion. Lots of good discussion here tonight on. I haven't followed 3D printers. Now I know what Ender is the one of the key players in the space, and so if I ever decide to go for some shopping in that space, I'll be looking for Ender. How's that? So what I'm going to do is make a move to close the net. It's a little after 10, so before I do that, I want to just check for any last round.
Okay, close as far as I'm concerned. This is Scale 7 HQR. Can you hang on for about 3 minutes after the net closes? Okay, back to net, Scale 7 HQR.
All right, thank you, Neil. I want to say thanks to everybody that participated in the net tonight, and we'll hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. The net is officially closed at 10:12 Pacific time. This is Wilson at November 6th Echo Mike Foxtrot, wishing you all a good evening and 73. Good night.
Thanks, Wilson. Another good, fantastic job. Thanks, Carol, for doing the